Morning, Project 19 men. It's good seeing you this morning. Gotta love summer. Mornings out here are incredibly just gorgeous. Gotta love it. All right, hey, we're gonna get right into this morning. We're talking about today about being a better man. You see, we are here in Project 19 Brotherhood. We are becoming bigger, better, stronger men every day. Every day is the day to become bigger, better, and stronger. And I've chosen this week to break this down. What does it mean to be bigger, better, and stronger as a man? And I shared with you some ideas and some thoughts yesterday about being a bigger man, becoming the bigger man spiritually in your life, becoming the bigger man mentally in your life, growing your life mentally, and becoming stronger up here. Good morning, Brian. I talked to you about becoming a bigger man in your body and taking care of yourself and doing what's necessary to grow your life in these incredible areas of your life and become the bigger man that you need to become. Good morning, sweetheart, and Rai and Lukey Dookie. Love you guys. So today I'm going to talk to you about being a better man. And real quick, there's going to be 4 areas in which I'm going to share this with you. Guys, listen, man, I'm just going to come at you straight and hard. Now, we as men, we need to become better at a lot of things. I mean, granted, we all could probably take care of the yard better, right? Around the house. We probably need to become better at taking care of the maintenance of the home and those kinds of things. Maybe we probably could get better at, hanging out with friends more positive people. I mean, there's a plethora of things that we as men need to get better at. And the list could be endless. But I don't want to dwell on that today. I want to get to some specifics. Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Jason. It's good seeing you guys and having you on here. But guys, I'm going to hit you 4 areas that we have got to get better at in our lives. And so, you know what? Grab pen and paper and write this down because this is going to be incredibly powerful. All right, number one, the place we got to get better at, men, is we've got to get better at being men. I'm going to state the obvious. I'm going to call out the obvious here. Is we got to be better at being men. What do I mean by that? What am I trying to get across here? Listen, it is time for us as men in America to rise up and be men. Be what it means to be a man. We've got to get a backbone, fellas. We have got to have a cause greater than ourselves down deep inside of us that we are going to be non-negotiable with, that we are going to have a backbone with, and we're going to say, I am not going to relent at all on the responsibilities of being a better man. And listen to me, men, the number one area that we as men have got to be better at is that we've got to be better men at knowing what truth is and standing for truth and proclaiming that truth by how we live our lives so that when we speak, people will listen. And we've got to have this. Good morning, Ed. It's good seeing you, buddy. It's real good to see you. I'll be out in Austin in a month, and hopefully I'll get to see you then. Anyhow, we've got to become better men at just being a man because our families need us to be that man. And you might be thinking, well, I didn't have the greatest influences in life. It doesn't matter. Guys, there are truths and there are biblical truths and there's the things that God has designed for us as men that we have to be unwavering. And our culture and society is in desperate need of men who will stand and be men and be a shining example of truth and integrity and of value and worth and to pour value and worth into our world, into our culture and society, but is not going to back down on what truth is. I'm not going to get into an argument about all the issues in America, but I will also not back down from the truth of God's word. It's just not going to happen. I will not relent. I will not be wimp at it. and I will be a man of that. So that's number one. Let me move on, okay? Get done with the rant there. Number two, listen, guys, we've got to get better at being responsible. Responsibility. You can ask my two older boys, Curtis and Kel, a philosophical question. You could ask them, what is life? And they're probably going to tell you responsibility. As they grew up, I was relentless on this. And listen to me, man, because it's also an incredible lesson that I've had to learn because of my irresponsibility with life. One of the problems with men today is, guys, we are being incredibly irresponsible. We are being irresponsible with the value of time, with the value of money, with the value of relationships with our wives and our children. We lack responsibility on our jobs, and we're not rising up to the level of integrity, of being responsible and taking stewardship of what it means to be a man. And we've got to get better with responsibility, of stewarding our time well and not wasting it. And we have got to become responsible and become greater stewards of the resources that we have been given in life, like income and money and finances. And listen, I'm talking to myself here. We got to become better at these things. And we've got to become better at our responsibilities with our wives and with our children, our most precious and valuable relationships. And listen, you might be thinking, well, I didn't grow up with that. And I realize it. Do you understand that in America today, more and more, it's becoming the minority that young men and young women don't have responsible men in their life. We have men who make babies and have all these women in their lives and have babies' mamas all over the place, and we can't take responsibility for any of it. And all these other issues. And listen, men, we've got to take responsibility of strong spiritual stewardship of what it means to be a man. Listen, guys, this is huge. Responsibility. That moves me to the next one. And listen to me, man. We've got to become better with the man in the mirror. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, let me tell you. We've got to become better at the man in the mirror. And let me put it to you this way. When you woke up this morning and you gazed at yourself in the mirror, what were your thoughts about yourself? I mean, no, be honest. Was it negative? Were you like, oh man, it's another day. It's another this, it's another that. Are you battling negativity? When you see yourself in the mirror, do you not like what you see? Listen, you got to change your perspective, and you got to become better at how you see the man in the mirror. Because here's the incredible thing. You and I, we were created in the image of God. Let me give you an idea of what this means, fellas. And we got to become responsible with this. Is that the Bible says in Psalm 139 that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let me give you an idea of what that means. That word fearfully there in the Hebrew means to stand in awe, to revere, to be in awe and have great respect. Listen, when you woke up this morning, God stood up in heaven and he goes, wow, look at him. You see, you got to get better at the man in the mirror and change the perspective from how you view yourself to how God sees you and how he created you with all the greatness that you are and becoming all that you were created to become. You got to get better, man. We've got to get better and change the perspective in the view of the man and what we see in the mirror. And I'm gonna wrap up with this final one. So listen to me. Men, we've got to get better at one another. Do you realize that in the New Testament, nearly 100 times the terminology one another is used throughout the New Testament? And sometimes it's not always positive, but nonetheless, we have to live life together. So why don't we as men become better at being with one another, being vulnerable, being willing to take on some responsibility to own up to one another and not to live life as an island unto ourselves, but to be men who are willing to work with one another, to be vulnerable with our kryptonites, to be vulnerable with our relationships, to seek out relationships with other men that will carry us and lead us and speak wisdom and truth and knowledge into our life, and also that will be there to bring restoration and healing. I need men to help me carry my burdens, and other men need me to help carry their burdens. We have got to become better at being one another. Men, this is huge. The list is endless of what we become better at as men, but I just gave you 4. And I hope I didn't overwhelm you this morning, but the time is now. We've got to get better at being a man, and we got to get a backbone, and we got to stand up in America, and we got to stand on truth, and we got to have a cause and a fight on the inside of us that is bigger than ourselves, that we will not relent, we will not waver, we will stand tall, we will stand strong, we will stand long for truth, and we will love people with an openness and a care and a concern for them, but we will not bow to lies and deceptions. We've got to get better with responsibility. We got to own the responsibility of all that has been given to us and be stewards of it. We've got to get better with the man in the mirror and change the perspective and see what God sees instead of what we see. And we've got to get better with one another. I need you, you need me, and together we can make a huge difference in this world. Men, it's time to become bigger, better, stronger men. I'm out of here. God bless. We'll see you mañana.